today I am doing a little something different. Chevy is here, chewing on my shirt. What are you doing? Hey guys! So as you can tell from today's video title, I am going to be talking about Howl's Moving Castle. So after recently watching the movie, I finally decided that I wanted to read the book that it was based off of. The movie has always mystified me because so much of it is left unanswered, and there are just a lot of questions that I have with the movie that I thought might be answered by reading the book. So today I'm going to be comparing both the movie and the book. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. I wanted to do a really deep analysis of the film and the book. I was really inspired by visual essayists on YouTube like Nerdwriter, and I really wanted to do something similar and kind of play around with some of the videos that I am doing for my YouTube channel. So if you guys are interested in learning more about the mysteries of Howl's Moving Castle, keep watching. So most of the content on my channel is not spoilery, but this one is going to have spoilers for both the film and the book, just because in order to do a deep analysis of the stories, I really need to dive into the plot of each of these formats. So if that's something you're not interested, if you don't want to get spoiled for the film or the book, this is probably not the video for you. So I would definitely check out both formats and then come back to this video later. But if you're fine with being spoiled, or if you've read and watched both the film and the book, keep watching. So I'm really proud about this video. It took a lot of time to research and prepare, and I'm super excited to be sharing it with you guys. So I really hope you enjoy it. And yeah, let's just get into it.
Hayao Miyazaki got his inspiration for the film Howl's Moving Castle from the children's book of the same title by Diana Wynne Jones, written in 1986. While the movie was very successful, the film went on to gross $190 million in Japan and $235 million worldwide, making it one of the most financially successful Japanese films in history. Many critics have described the film as lackluster or missing the subtlety or complexity of his other works. For me, Howl's Moving Castle is my second favorite Miyazaki film. I am a sucker for the romance and steampunk world. However, I can see why some people might not like it as much. The storyline doesn't make the most sense, and the anti-war themes seem a little obnoxious and heavy-handed, but we'll get into that a little later. The story starts off with our main character, Sophie. She's the eldest daughter of a hat maker's apprentice. She perceives herself as unattractive and uninteresting, the complete opposite of her sister Letty, who is loved by everyone. In the book, Sophie has two sisters, Letty and Martha, who play a slightly bigger role in the book's overall plot. After an encounter with Howl, at the time she's unaware of the famed wizard who steals women's hearts, she is turned into an old woman by the evil witch of the waste, who is jealous of the attention Howl has given her. Sophie decides to leave her home in search of a way to break the curse, and comes across Howl's Moving Castle. She makes a pact with Calcifer, Howl's fire demon, to break the curse that's enslaved him, and becomes Howl's new cleaning lady. And that's where most of the similarities end. There are a few iconic scenes, like when Howl starts turning into green slime when his hair is the wrong color, that are both in the source material and the film. What makes these stories so different is their subplots. Both the book and the film have multiple subplots, and that's one of the many criticisms of the film, that there are so many subplots that they don't really add up. For example, war is a constant in Miyazaki's film. The movie came out in 2004 and is believed to be influenced by Miyazaki's opposition to the war in Iraq. The strong anti-war themes are only present in the film. In an interview, Miyazaki says, "The reason that we made Howl's Moving Castle is that there are too many unhappy matters in the world, such as wars and economic crisis. We hope that, through the movie, people can keep up their courage and see the hope. The future world is still nice and beautiful. It is worthy for us to survive and explore it." The way the war is described is through bits and pieces we hear from various characters talking about a missing prince and visuals of battleships in the sky, but we never get to see the opposing sides or really understand its purpose to the plot, which is something that Miyazaki does so well in The Princess Mononoke. Truthfully, the war feels like it sits in the background, moving the plot forward when needed. The characters are the true focus of both stories. Howl's flamboyant, self-absorbed, and cowardly personality is portrayed in both mediums. Miyazaki does a fantastic job of portraying the book's characters along with their flaws and external and internal conflicts. Throughout the movie, Howl avoids the royal summons to join the war and fight for his kingdom, and in the book, he's trying to avoid searching for his king's brother that goes missing in the waste. Despite Howl's many flaws, you can't help but root for him and hope that he will become a better person. Howl's lack of heart can be blamed in many ways for his stunted emotional development and his inability to care for others. It's actually kind of ironic, because it is an act of kindness, saving Calcifer from dying, that causes him to lose his heart and gain so much power. Much like in the movie, where his humanity stands out in moments when he is saving Sophie from the bombs and using his magic to prevent the war, which turns him more and more into the winged beast. In contrast, Sophie is unsure of herself, giving into the belief that she won't amount to anything because she is the eldest. While we see this in the movie, especially in the opening scenes as she's left behind to work on her hats, compared to the attention her younger sister receives at her job at the bakery, it's much more clear in the book. It is a known fact that the eldest siblings live boring lives. In fact, the first paragraph of the book says, "It is quite a misfortune to be born the eldest of 3. Everyone knows you are the one who will fail first, and worse, if the 3 of you set out to seek your fortunes." Despite what she believes, Sophie affects everyone she encounters. In the movie, she creates a family for Howl, and in the book, she has the magical ability to talk things into existence. Both Howl and Sophie become better people, and in many ways do so without realizing it. Before I go into some of the symbolism of the book and film, I wanted to talk about some of the major differences in the plots. One of the most striking differences has to do with the magical door. In one of the earlier scenes of the movie, the rules of the door are quickly explained. By moving the dial to a different color opens the door to a different location. However, it's not very clear where the black door takes you. In the film, we see Howl leave and come through the black door, often at times when he has changed into his bird form. Also another piece of the film that Miyazaki added to the story. At the end of the movie, Sophie travels through the black side of the door and enters a memory of Howl's childhood, where she discovers how him and Calcifer made their pact. However, in the book, the black door leads to a different world, presumably our world, where Howl actually came from. It's not really explained what this means, but it is perhaps expanded on in the 2 companion novels, The Castle in the Air and The House of Many Ways. Both of these situations seem a little strange to me, as they don't really add anything to either story. You could argue that Miyazaki uses it as a plot device to explain how Sophie understood how to break the curse, but it still doesn't explain why Howl used the black door so often. This was one of the most perplexing parts of the movie for me, and I still don't quite understand its significance, but it is interesting to see how different the 2 were about this particular piece of the story. Another interesting difference is the fact that the Witch of the Waste in the book was taking body parts of male characters to create the ideal man. She wanted to use Howl's head to finish her creation. This was a really creepy aspect of the story that, while I enjoyed, seemed a little out of place for the lighthearted tone of the children's book. There is so much symbolism throughout the film and book that I can't touch on everything. However, I will be talking about Sophie's curse as well as the moving castle itself. The Witch of the Waste curses Sophie by turning her into an old woman, and her reasoning for this seems quite obvious. If you were jealous of the attention a man was giving another woman, the easiest way to fix that would be by making the woman undesirable. But being turned into a woman also plays into how Sophie saw herself. Remember, as the eldest daughter, she was doomed to be unsuccessful. Her fears of being mediocre and ugly are realized when she becomes the old woman. Throughout the film, we see Sophie appear younger, very subtly, and then more drastically towards the ending. The viewer can perceive this as the curse slowly breaking the more she gives in to her true feelings about Howl. However, in the book she maintains her elderly appearance despite Howl's secret attempts to remove the curse. I had several goes at taking it off you when you weren't looking, but nothing seems to work. I took you to Miss Pensimon hoping she could do something, but she evidently couldn't. I came to the conclusion that you liked being in disguise. Another interesting aspect is that Diana describes the curse as being broken the moment Sophie puts Howl's heart back into his chest, when her fair red hair falls down around her face. It was a subtle way to show that the curse was broken, but this is before the witch was actually killed, confirming that Sophie had to be the one to break the curse. She uses her elderly form as an excuse to stay with Howl throughout the story. She could stay in limbo forever, never rejected by Howl or have to actually pursue a romantic relationship with him. I think Miyazaki used some of the scenes where we see Sophie as younger to represent that she was maintaining the curse, and once she was able to confess to herself her true feelings for Howl, she was able to break the curse. Sophie uses the curse as a way to protect herself, much like the other characters use a castle to avoid reality. For example, in the book, Sophie is terrified of the Scarecrow and uses her fear as an excuse to stay in the castle and not leave. Similarly, in the movie, Howl avoids fighting in the war by moving the castle rather than physically running away.
There's so much that could be said about the book and movie Howl's Moving Castle, and after consuming both formats, I've really grown appreciation for the film. I believe Miyazaki turned a complex novel into a film that both paid homage to the original and also created something that was completely unique. While there's still a lot about the plot that doesn't make sense and a lot of questions are left unanswered, I still really enjoyed the movie. And a lot of issues that I had with the movie were similar issues that I had with the book as well. Ultimately, Howl's Moving Castle is about an adventurous love story between two strong-willed and flawed characters. What makes this love story melt my heart is that Sophie and Howl aren't striving to be better people or blinded by their love, but instead find themselves through their love of each other. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was a long one. Give it a thumbs up if you want to see more content like this on my channel, and let me know in the comments below what you think about the movie, the book, or both, and I will see you guys very soon with another video. Thanks again for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Bye!